Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to a bookish video. So say it with me, it's bookgammon time. Yes, this is the time of the month where I play the game Bookgammon, which is based off the board game Backgammon, to help me pick my TBR for the upcoming month. And today we are playing for June's TBR. I will put her down because we know she gets noisy. So starting off with some housekeeping before we get into gameplay. Let's start off with our priority picks. These are the books that were in this month's TBR, which is May, because I'm currently filming this a couple of days before the end of the month. And these are the books that I didn't get to on May's TBR and will be priority picks for next month. The first one of those is, are we surprised? Are we at all surprised? I didn't get to the classic Les Mis. This is volume 1 because it is in 2 parts. It's a very fluffy one, but the type text is minuscule. Even my eyes are struggling to read it. I was hoping to listen to the audiobook of this, however I didn't. I just didn't get around to it. I'm sorry. So she is a priority pick for June, so if I can fit it into June's TBR, I will. The second priority pick is actually a Kindle Unlimited book. This is Dangerous Remedy by, I forget who it was by, but I will put it on the screen. I did not get to this. I do not feel any guilt whatsoever. Spoiler for my May reading wrap up, I read a lot of ebooks. Compared to what I normally read, I read a lot of ebooks in May, so I do not feel any guilt that I didn't get to another ebook in May. So if it can fit onto June's TBR, then fingers crossed we'll get it on there. So those are the priority picks for June. The next bit of housekeeping is our star book, and it's back, the Bomb Book. So in May, we didn't play the bomb token, we played the book haul token because it was a mental health self-care month for me, so we did not want to have to read, well, I did not want to have to read a bomb book in that month, so we didn't play the bomb book token, but it is back for June. And the bomb book that I have chosen is The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. So The Great Hunt is the second book in the Wheel of Time series, and she's a chonker, she is, but let's face it, big books don't intimidate me. What intimidates me is the fact that this is an epic adult fantasy and there's a lot to take in. I struggled with the first book, not because it wasn't good writing or because I wasn't enjoying the story, but it just felt like there was a lot to take in. So yeah, this is my bomb book for June. And the star book, which is the complete opposite of a bomb book, is going to be something that I have wanted to read since I purchased it in May. Shatter City by Scott Westerfeld. This is the second book in the Imposters series, written by Scott Westerfeld, which is basically a continuation, I suppose, of his Ugly series. I love the Ugly series. It is my favourite series of all time. If there was a house fire, the Ugly series books would be one of the first things I grabbed. That and a picture of me and my children together, and obviously my husband. But yeah, the Ugly series I would save in a house fire. And the fact that the Imposter series is kind of like a continuation story in the same world but with new characters and new villains and new political issues that are being fought against. I love the first book. Spoiler for my May wrap up, but you know, so I cannot wait to get to book 2 of the Imposter series. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen next in this story. So that is the main housekeeping done. I am taking part in the Whatever You Want Readathon hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing Blog. I will link her channel for you in the description box down below so you can check her announcement video out. But basically, she is doing a readathon where you can read whatever you want, but for those who want a little bit more of a challenge, she has created a bingo board, and there are teams. So depending on which team you are, there are a certain number of squares within that bingo board that are changeable depending on what team you are on. And so I have decided to go with the Sunset Scholars because the prompts for their books, for their bingo board, was books that I could fulfill. So I will be playing for the Sunset Scholars. I think I'm going to be pledging 10 books for the readathon. So I'm just going to go through with you the books that I've picked for the team's prompts only. The rest of the prompts on the board I will probably fill with whatever books I'm reading during the month. But these are the books that I'm going to be fulfilling the team prompts with. So the first team prompt for Sunset Scholars is Dragons, and for that one I'm going to pick up the Dragonstorm second book, Kara and Silver Thief, which looks like that. This is a very short middle grade. I am absolutely in love with anything that Alistair Chisholm writes, and in fact in June Alistair Chisholm is actually coming to an indie bookstore somewhere near me, and I am hoping that I can get across there and see him and meet him and tell him how much his book Orion Lost has absolutely changed my life with my mental health issues, and hopefully get him to sign one or maybe a few of my books. He is promoting his newest book, which I think is called The Conscience Girl, and I will be purchasing that as well, and hopefully I'll get a signed copy of that as well. But I really would like him if he could sign my Orion Lost copy, because that's the book that really changed my life. So yeah, he is an auto-buy author for me now. Anything he writes I want to read, and yeah, I cannot wait to get to this book. The next prompt is a book about books, and I'm going to be reading a contemporary. I don't do this often, but I am going to attempt a contemporary. This is Book Lovers by Emily Henry even. It is a new release, I believe. It says, one summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. So yes, I believe it's, they're both in, yeah, the book publishing world, I believe. One's a literary agent and one is an editor. And I suppose a love story will ensue. So we're going to attempt to read that. The next team prompt is Shiny Cover. No, that's not the one I was going to reach for. Had them in the wrong order. The next team prompt is Shiny Cover, and I'm going for this one. Can you see the shine? It's shiny, look shiny. So I thought this would fulfill the prompt because it's like a base matte cover and then the bit in the center is all shiny. This is The Obsidian Butterfly by Lainey Forbes. It's book 3 in the Seventh Sun series, or the Age of the Seventh Sun series. So yes, I have read books 1 and 2 and thoroughly enjoyed them. There's a lot of political intrigue in here, there's a lot of romance in here. I really enjoy the story, and I am excited to read book 3. The next group prompt is S's on the cover. So it must have more than one S in the title or the author's name, but more than one S on the cover. So I went with a Sebastian de Castell book. This is Crownbreaker, book 6 in the Spellslinger series. I've been working my way through this series for about 2 years now. It has taken that long to finish this series. So we are at the finale. This is the final book in the series, and I'm so excited to see how this is all going to end. And the last book that it will fulfill the team prompts for the Sunset Scholars is academia theme, and for that I am reading The Atlas 6 by Oliver Blake. 6 are chosen, only 5 will walk away. I believe this is set in a school. It says 6 extraordinary magicians, 5 chances to win, and 1 secret society. So yeah, basically they go into school, they have to battle it out or do whatever, and only 5 of them are going to survive. So yeah, it's had a lot of hype recently. It was originally self-published, and then because it got so much hype on like BookTube and TikTok or whatever they're pushing these books nowadays, a actual publisher, Tor, picked it up and mainstream published it. So yeah, can happen, people, it can happen. So those are the books that I'm hoping to read for the Whateverathon. I'll just stack them up for you. So that is my stack for Whateverathon. So I will be reading all of these for that. And the books that I choose for Bookgammon will help to fill in some of the other prompts on the board. Other than that, I do have my buddy read with Charlotte, and we are going to be reading Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, which is her newest series that she's writing. I sent Charlotte a copy of Defy the Night for her birthday, and yeah, we're going to be moving on to this one for June. So normally I give you all of that at the end of the video, but I thought I would do it before I get into gameplay this time round, just to change it up a little bit. So now, here is what you've all been waiting for. It's the gameplay. Roll the footage. Please be nice to me. So to remind ourselves, as always, of the categories, we have red for thriller, pink for contemporary, orange for classics, green for middle grades, yellow for graphic novels and mangas, purple for non-fiction, and blue for fantasy and sci-fi. We have our star book and bomb book tokens to place. So let's place the bomb book first. So random number 19. So 6, 12, 18, 19. So it's going on a thriller triangle. And the star book, number 23. So we're going to have to wait right till the end for whether to see whether we're going to get the bomb book or the star book. And the star book is going on a contemporary space. Okay, so we have our prompt cards. Let's give them a shuffle. Okay, so that's them done. We have our 2 dice and our shaker. So let's go for roll 1. We're starting from this side and working our way around home. So roll number 1 is a 2 and a 1. So our 2 is 1, 2. So our first prompt is an ebook on the white space. Can you see that? There. And then 1, we have a graphic novel or manga. So we don't need a prompt for the ebook because it's just any ebook, but we do need the prompt for the graphic novel or manga. And the graphic novel manga prompt is a hardback. So yeah. Okay. Roll number 2. Oh no. Oh no. It's double 1. Which means that we have to go backwards. And if we go off the board by going backwards, it's a no book buying month. So one piece comes back off the board because it goes back 1, and the second piece goes back 1 to the graphic novel and manga space. But that does mean no book buying in June. Oh. Okay, so the graphic novel manga is set in a fantasy world. So it can't be set in the real world. This is not going well. Roll number 3. A 5 and a 6. So I think, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do this one 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do our second piece, which is coming back on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they both landed on the same space, which means only one prompt, and that is a middle grade. So the middle grade prompt is new author to me. So that means not just, it could be an author that I've never read from before. It can be a debut novel that's been printed recently, or it can be a backlist novel that I've just never read from that author before. So that's that one. Okay, roll number 4. A 6 and a 2. Okay, so we're going to move 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the other one 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a fantasy and a classic. Okay, so for the classic, we have a second-hand purchase. So this is a book that I've bought second-hand, like from a charity shop or from a second-hand website. And the fantasy is top of the pile. That means a book that is at the top of my TBR list, something that I really want to read. So something similar to a star book, really. Roll number 5. I thought that was going to be another double then. Okay. Well, I don't want to put another classic on, so I'm going to move this one 2. 1, 2. So it's a graphic novel or manga, and then this one 1. So that's a contemporary. So for the contemporary, we have the prompt last letter, first letter, which is really great because this is actually one of the prompts on Whateverathon. So it means that I can fulfill that prompt for both the Readathon and for Bookgammon, but I have to fulfill it with a contemporary book. Last letter, first letter means that the last letter of the previous book I read has to be the first letter of the book that I choose for this prompt. So that's going to be kind of difficult to do today, but the graphic novel or manga prompt is excited to read. Yay! Roll number 6. 5 and a 3. Okay, this one will go 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's a fantasy. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another manga or graphic novel. Okay, so for the manga graphic novel, we have a Japanese setting. Easily done with many mangas nowadays. And the fantasy is a retelling. So something that is based on maybe a fairy tale of some sort. So I have plenty of those. So I'll pick one of those. Roll number 7. We're very close to the bomb book. 1 and a 6. Okay. I can do it, guys. I can do it. So this one is going to move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have landed on the star book. Yes, I get to read the star book in June. Can't buy any books, but I can read my star book. And that means that the bomb book gets taken off and this one moves 1, which is a non-fiction. So we don't choose a prompt for this space because we landed on the star book, but we do need a prompt for non-fiction. And we have TBR mug. Great. So roll number 8. Double 6. It's an even number, so that means we're allowed to go forwards. So this one is going home. 1, 2, so that is gone. And then this moves forward 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is a classic. So the prompt for classic is pre-1900s, so anything that was published before the 1900s. So as we have one piece on the board now, we put one dice away. We'll just roll the one dice. Can we go home? Yes, we can. 1, 2, 3, and we are home. And that is Bookgammon over and done with for another month. Bye. So that happened. She was decent, apart from that beginning. I can't believe after May was, I had the book haul token. June, I'm on a book buying ban. So let's get into it. Let's get into the rolls. For the first roll, we had, the first prompt was ebook. So the ebook that I've chosen is the e-arc of Empress Crowned in Red. This is the sequel to Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart. I have managed to figure out how to use NetGalley now. So I have a couple of ebooks that, or e-arcs that I have been accepted for, and Empress Crowned in Gold, or Crowned in Red, sorry, is one of them, and it's due to be released in June. So I am already halfway through it, but I don't think I'm going to get it finished before the end of the month. So I'm kind of cheating on this one, but it will be finished in June. So it counts. I'm counting it. I'm going easy with myself. I have a lot of books to read in June. So I'm reading Empress Crowned in Red by Shannon Smart for the ebook prompt. The second prompt for roll number 1 was a manga graphic novel, a hardback, and for that I'm going to read this one. It is Together by Luke Adam Hawker. So it looks like that, and it's basically, it's kind of an homage to the pandemic and everyone being in lockdown, and it's this cute little story about this old man and his dog whose isolation in lockdown is harder than, you know, families that are locked in together. And it's just this beautiful story of him with his dog. Look at the artwork in that. How cute is that? He's putting the umbrella over his dog, and it's just like an homage to the lockdown. I wanted to have something to, you know, remind myself about it. And like this picture of everybody locked into their individual homes and stuff like that. So it's a really nice story that just honours everybody's hard work during the pandemic, and their sacrifices of the NHS and stuff like that, of putting themselves forward to combat the COVID issue and stuff. And I just thought it would be really cute. So yeah, I'm going to read Together by Luke Adam Hawker. For roll number 2, we got a double 1. And normally this would not be an issue, but I'd only just started the game, and so one of the pieces had to come off the board. And the rule is, if I get an odd number double, I have to go backwards. If I get an even double, I'm allowed to go forwards. If by going backwards, one or both of my pieces go off the board, that is an instant book buying ban for that month. And one of my pieces went off the board. I'm not allowed to buy any books in June, which is probably a good thing, let's face it. I bought a lot of books recently. In fact, I even bought 2 of the same book in the last 2 months. Yes, I did. So we only have one prompt for this roll, and that was another manga or graphic novel, this time set in a fantasy world. and I thought there's nothing more fantastical than Animal Crossing. I love this. I love this is the Deserted Island Diary Volume 1, story and art by Kokonasu Rumba. It's there. And it's just basically a graphic novel set in the world of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I love it. It's a fantastical world because you've got talking animals, you've got Tom Nook, and you've got talking birds and all sorts of creatures and stuff, and I love Animal Crossing the game, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy reading the graphic novel manga. So yeah. For roll number 3, both of our pieces managed to land on one space, which means, again, just the one prompt. Awesome. I love it when that happens. And that was a middle grade, and it was author new to me. So I recently purchased Skandar and the Unicorn Thief by A.F. Stedman. I did check. She is a new, he. Yes. This is her debut novel, and I managed to pick this up recently from Waterstones. It's signed exclusive edition. Look at this. Look at that for a hardcover. How awesome is that? And sprayed edges. I love it. I love it. I miss having beautiful books from Fairyloot. I really do. Anyway. So yeah, I picked this up, Skandar and the Unicorn Thief. It says on the back, like the eye of a shadowy storm, black smoke swirled around the fearsome unicorns, thunder rumbled in their wake, and bolts of lightning hit the earth far below. Soar into a world of heroes and unicorns as you've never seen them before. So yeah, I believe that this was like being advertised as the new Harry Potter, you know, but... you know, let's hope it's better than that, because I wasn't a big fan of Harry Potter. Don't unsubscribe. We're all allowed our opinions. Okay, on to roll number 4. The first prompt was a fantasy, and that is Top of the Pile. Now, it's got to be the Imposter series. I'm sorry. I need to read this series. I wanted to read it as soon as I finished the first book, but I thought, no, I will hold off and I will read the rest of my TBRs. I'm supposed to. So yeah, after I finished The Imposters in May, I basically went straight on and I ordered all the other books in the series that are published so far. Books 2, 3 and 4. Mirror's Edge is actually book 3, but as you saw from the footage, I did win my star book, so we will see book 2 later on. So yeah, this is just a continuation of the Imposter series, which I've already spoken to you about, so I'm not going to ramble on too much about that. And the second prompt for roll number 4 was a classic, and that was a second-hand purchase. And I did get these from a charity shop. It is Bedknobs and Broomsticks by Mary Norton, a hardback, and these were originally published for the Scarborough Evening News. It's a very short book, and it's basically set during the First World War, I think it is. I think it's in the First World War, and these children are sent to live with this weird old woman who believes that she's a witch, and they go off on this magical adventure and eventually stop a German raid party from like getting into trouble in England. So yeah, I absolutely love this. I love the film. I love the songs. So I'm going to read the story. For roll number 5, our first prompt was another manga graphic novel. I got a lot of those this month. And the prompt for that was excited to read. The second prompt for roll number 5 was a contemporary, and that was Last Letter, First Letter. And this is really great because that is a similar prompt on the Whateverathon bingo board. So I will be able to use this book that I've chosen for both Bookgammon and for Whateverathon, and I thought something that starts and ends with a T would be really helpful because there's a lot of books that start with the word the. So if I could get something that could end in a T or start with a T, that would be really helpful. So I picked The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and this is part of the Dreamland Billionaires series, and this is book 1. And it says on the back, The Fine Print is the first book in a series of spicy standalone novels featuring 3 billionaire brothers. So I believe that this one is about Rowan, the brother Rowan, and he's the business of creating fairy tales, production companies, 5-star hotels, theme parks. Everything can be mine if I renovate Dreamland. And he hires Zara, who's, after submitting a drunk proposal criticising Dreamland's most expensive ride, she thinks she should have been fired. Instead, Rowan has offered her her dream job. So, yeah, he's her boss. She dislikes him, and romance is going to ensue, I suppose. This sounds very much like a Mills and Boon kind of novel, and I'm excited for it. I hope there's a lot of smut in here. That is what I want from my contemporary romances. I want dirty smut. I'm hoping for good stuff, some good stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be reading that one. For roll number 6, our first prompt was a fantasy, and that was a retelling. So I'm doing it, and I think a couple of the ladies from my Waterstones book club might be happy with me. I'm finally reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So it is that. I have read her Circe and really enjoyed it. And I have been told numerous times by a certain someone from the Waterstones book club that I need to read this. And so June is the month I am finally going to read about The Song of Achilles. So I'm guessing this has something to do with Achilles and Patroclus. And yeah, I believe it's a bit of a love story. I don't know. I don't know a lot. And despite their differences, Achilles befriends the shamed prince Patroclus as they grow into young men skilled in the arts of war and medicine. Their bond blossoms into something deeper, despite the displeasure of Achilles' mother Thetis, a cruel sea goddess. So, yes. Well, we all know how the Trojan War started, so I guess this is going to play into that storyline as well. So, yeah, I'm going to read that. Make certain people happy. Roll 6 for the manga graphic novel prompt of Japanese setting. That's what I'm reading Assassination Classroom for. I mean, I am excited to read this as well, but this is for the Japanese setting prompt. I got it completely mixed up. I will go from these notes this time instead of these notes. So the roll number 7, our first prompt, I won the Star Book. So for that one, I get to read Shatter City, which is book 2 in the Imposter series. So I will be reading Shatter City first, then moving on to Mirror's Edge in the month of June, because I have both of them on my TBR. If I have any time to spare, which I doubt it very much, I might even pick up book 4 in June as well and just get up to date with the series. These are so easy for me to read. I practically read Imposters in 2 days, so these don't take me very long to read. It's very floppy and very easy to read, and I absolutely love this series so far. So yeah, and we'll be reading Shatter City as my star book. The second prompt for roll number 7 was TBR mug. So I have my TBR mug here. I have 2 TBR mugs now. One is for books that are on my TBR, some that I want to read, some that I don't want to read. some that I'm intimidated by, and all sorts of different books. And then this one is my series TBR mug. So as I am trying to really focus on finishing some series or getting up to date with some series this year, I have this separated into a separate mug so that I can choose if I want to start a sort of totally separate book or continue with the series. So I'm going to continue with the series on this one. So let's pick out, there's quite a few in there. Let's see what I get. Let's go for this one. Okay, it is Rainbow Grey, Eye of the Storm, which is the second book, and it is by Laura Ellen Anderson. And quite happily, that is here. So Rainbow Grey, Eye of the Storm, the second one in the series. Look at those sprayed edges, isn't that cute? So yeah, Rainbow Grey is a young girl who lives in a place where there's magic, and in the book one she is trying to, what was she trying to do? World needs a rainbow like never before. 10-year-old Ray Grey wishes she had magic like her friends. Life in the Weatherlands just isn't the same without it. But then a forbidden trip to Earth turns everything Ray thought she knew about herself upside down. Ray must dig deep to find her inner power, battle new enemies, and let her true colours shine. So that was the first book, Rainbow Grey. And I'm going to be reading the second book in the series in June. So that was my TBR mug pick. And then for roll 8 we got a piece home, and our other piece got the classic prompt, and that was pre-1900s, and I did say it was a priority pick. It's pre-1900s. I believe it's 1885 or 65 or something like that. I cannot remember. Maybe 1862, something like that. So yeah, this is, as I say, priority pick for Les Mis by Victor Hugo, and this is the first volume because my copy of Les Mis is in 2 volumes. I do have the second volume up on my shelf, but we are just going to read volume 1 hopefully in June. It is the second month that it is on, so it is a priority, which means that I try and get my priority picks read first if I can. So I'm gonna have to try and find the audiobook for this, and then listen to it on audio, maybe read along with it as well. But I'm apprehensive. Let's hope I get it done. So that is it. That is my Bookgammon TBR, as well as my Whateverathon TBR. That's a lot of books. I have 13 books on my Bookgammon TBR, 5 books on my Whateverathon TBR, plus Buddy Read with Charlotte, plus whatever is my Waterstones book club pick tomorrow when I go to the meeting. That is going to be 18, 19, 20 books on my TBR for June. Will I read them all? I don't know. We shall see, we shall see. A few of these are pretty easy reads because they are. There's a lot of graphic novels on here. I know that the Scott Westerfeld books I'll read pretty quickly. There's nothing too big on this TBR list. I think the biggest book is actually Crownbreaker, which is just over 500 pages. Les Mis is just short of 500 pages, but it is very small text. So there's nothing too big or too difficult to read on this month's TBR, so I should be able to do really well. We shall see. So yeah, that is it. That is my TBR for the month of June. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!